present in the house today. I believe others will be joining shortly. Okay, so I want to say thank you to everyone for honoring this call for joining. We really appreciate your time out of your busy schedule for this call. It's well appreciated. Okay, as we commence the space, the virtual space, I would like to request that everyone mutes their microphones during the show. Um, as a recording will be uploaded later on the YouTube channel. And also, if you have a message, if you have a question, kindly use the chat box. If you experience connection problems, enable low bandwidth mode and reduce your video quality. Thanks for waiting. Women, as we know, are no less than any man in any field. Over time, we've seen several examples of women excelling in various STEM fields and serving the society for larger cause. We at the STEM Girls Initiative aims to groom girls with the same kind of inspiration and zeal at the heart to excel in STEM fields and do their best. This talk show is a platform for the women in STEM to talk to the girls aspiring to excel in it. We are sure that after hearing from our guests, all the audience will be inspired to reach the stars. During this talk show, we will be conversing with a woman in the field of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, a woman who had made a mark and have now graciously taken the time to tell us about her journey and share with us her wisdom. Thank you, Mrs. Joyce, for being in the house. And also, our thanks goes to Mrs. Nikita. Okay, Joyce Unochi is a pharmacist and data analyst with a special interest in the health tech and social impact industries, with over 4 years of combined experience in both. She is also an advocate for the inclusion and participation of women and girls across Africa in various areas and has employed her experts and skills in doing so. Most recently, she began focusing her passion on creating an inclusive and participatory tech ecosystem for women and girls across Nigeria and Africa. She is a STEM She is a team lead at Unoye and organization working to bridge the tech gender gap for women and girls across Africa, and is a member of the advisory board for the Free STEM Fund organized by Women Win and International Women's Fund. Okay, so Mrs. Joyce, thank you very much for being on the call. Are you ready for our questions? Hello, ma'am.
Okay, hello. Can you give me a moment, please?
All right,
A minute. Let me just.
that'll be fine.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I don't know if you can hear me clearly before I proceed. Hello, good afternoon. Okay, like she already introduced, my name is Joyce Wanachi, and I'm a pharmacist I'm a data analyst and I work as like I organize a lot of women for a lot of women in tech organization. I am currently the team lead at OSME and an organization working to build technology gap for women and girls. And I also am partnership and grants lead, a volunteer role though, at She Code Africa. I recently got selected as an advisory board member for the Free STEM Fund, as she has already said. So that's a bit about me. Sorry, I didn't get the second question because I was a bit distracted.
Thank you very much for your response. Yeah. Okay, we start now with the question. Are you ready first?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. We'd like to know more about you. What is your field of study and what got you interested in it?
Okay, first things first, my interest in the roles that I currently am in began right when I was like in my undergraduate. So when I was in my undergraduate days, I used to volunteer a lot then for non-profit organizations, and I got the exposure to working with a lot of data. But then I discovered that there was a problem in his presentations, and I got experience working with a lot of data and realized that there were some issues, right, in working with that data because first things first, data was unavailable for use, and that was what like piqued my interest first of all with the data field. So I didn't have any experience or didn't know the skills I should learn, and that was why it was put on hold for a while. And it was in my final year in the university that I got the opportunity and the exposure after attending like a tech conference. After I attended the tech conference and I saw that I could learn and I could build skills like within the data field, and that was how I began like my journey into data analytics. And for a few months, or would I say a year plus now, I've been transitioning and navigating. I've been transitioning and just generally building my skills. So that's
Okay, thank you very much for sharing that. Can we know who inspired you to become who you are today?
so you said who inspired me to.
Yes.
So yeah, for inspiration, I think I can't say oh I had like a particular person that like inspired me to go into the role because at the time when I began my journey, like into transition into being a data analyst, that was in my undergraduate. I didn't have so many friends or so many people really who were like actively in tech, and so it was like I sort of inspired myself, seeing that I needed to learn a skill, and just went in head first. I dove in head first, right? And there were a lot of mistakes because I didn't have a mentor at that point. But as time went on, I sort of started meeting people. I started like interacting with more people within the tech field, and I got to see a lot more pharmacists that were data analysts, and that was when I would say I started getting like inspirations to be better and to just I started seeing light in the field and saw that I could be more, and that was the beginning for me.
Wow. Okay, so during your studies, did you feel any peer pressure, especially because you're a woman?
Yes, I did. I had a lot of pressure because first things first, okay, I forgot to mention it. At the time when I realized I could learn a skill in tech, right? I had so many male friends that were already in tech, right? And
Wow.
I would say they were sort of inspiration, right? And sorry for saying right all the time. They were sort of inspiration and they sort of encouraged me, right, to continue what I was doing. They sort of encouraged me that, oh, this is something that I could do. But because I didn't have so many women in the field, it became a bit like difficult. But then I had like so many male friends who were already in tech, and that was a lot of pressure because it meant that I had to go the extra mile. It meant that I had to sort of survive in a space where I didn't have any female friends at that time, like actively in. So that was like the pressure I felt the most, and that was it. That was like the pressure I felt the most, especially since I had so many male friends in the field and didn't have a lot of female people to look up to or to look at like around me. So that was what formed most of the pressure I felt at that time.
Wow. So tell us about your difficulties that encountered during the process.
Oh, okay. So for difficulties, I would say one of the biggest difficulty I had then was I didn't have a laptop. That was like
Well,
when it began. So I had to, I think almost everybody that began as I am, or if you're in an ideal African setting where some of these skills are not regarded as important, it's easy to sort of relate to the fact that you may not have a laptop, and that can be very discouraging. So I didn't have a laptop at the beginning, and it meant I had to borrow laptops from my friends. I had a physical class at that time I was attending. So it meant I had to borrow laptops on the weekends where I had to attend physical class, and it was quite burdensome rather, because if they needed their laptop, I literally had to give it back to them. And for that period, my classes or my learning was paused. So these were the issues. These were the issues. And then the challenge that I mentioned, that I didn't have people to look up to, I didn't have mentors. So it meant I was always going around in circles. It meant like I started learning analytics rather, from the top to the bottom instead of me going from bottom slowly upwards, because I didn't have anybody to guide me. So these were like the major issues. I would say the major issues I faced, not having a laptop, not knowing where to start because I didn't have mentors. And that's why, like at Insonye, in as much as we try to train and help them upskill, we also ensure that we infuse mentorship into all our programs to see that while you're learning this skill, you have a mentor that can guide you properly. Those were issues I lacked, and sorry, those were like challenges I faced at that time.
wow. So what experience from this challenge that you've encountered has prepared you to becoming whom you are and studying pharmacy and data analyst at the same time? You know, it's really, really, really not balancing.
Yeah, it actually is not because, like I mentioned, I was already in school when I got the first exposure, and it took me like almost 2 years for me to eventually start learning the data analytics skill. This was after the initial exposure, right? So it wasn't easy because I know at some point last year I had to take about 2 months break from data analytics because I had to focus on my final year project work and all of that. So it really wasn't easy. And my advice always is this: if you really can't balance it, like if you really can't find that balance, it's best you know yourself. And if you say, oh, you can do it one at a time, you take it one at a time. But if you can find the balance of doing both at the same time, then you should really go ahead with that. It really wasn't easy, like staying awake at night, knowing I have a test and having like a task to finish up like within like data analytics. It really was a hectic period, and that's all I can say about that right now. So I can't hear.
Hello.
I can hear you. I can.
Okay, so our next question is, which social problem do you think is most urgently to be solved when we talk about girls in STEM?
Okay, from my end, I would say the awareness, right? For instance, like we're in Africa, and I know that, okay, at the point when I was trying to learn, there were too many talks about, oh, are you sure tech is something you're supposed to do? Are you sure tech is something a girl should do? And all those. So I would say awareness is the first point, like of course. We could raise like more awareness, do a lot of um, campaigns like in schools, just get people aware of the fact that first things first, women and girls can actually do a lot within STEM. Like there are a lot of things that they can do with STEM and within the STEM field. So giving them that point of entry through like exposing them is something I feel like a lot of organizations can start with, or a lot of people like working within the STEM space could do. That is one. The second thing I think that could be done is that you could work around equipping them, like upskilling programs, organizing like upskilling programs, and ensuring that they have like access to like opportunities to first get skills. So after awareness, sure, their interest is going to be built, right? So after their interest is built, what next? The next step I feel is ensuring that they have the skills to back up that interest. Because if you make me interested in something and say, oh, there's so many opportunities in tech, there's so many things you can do with tech, and I don't have the skills, trust me, that exposure is, well, I don't want to use the word wrong, but the exposure is like useless, because I have all the interest, I'm happy, oh, I've heard of all the possibilities, but I don't have skills to actually take the next step of going into tech. So these are things that I feel like could be addressed. We could start with creating awareness, doing campaigns, collaborating with organizations, and ensuring that everybody is aware. Like parents know that they should allow their girls go into like STEM fields. And I like that there has been progress, right? Because a few years ago, like if a girl wanted to study engineering, for
Of
instance, there
course.
would have been some side talks, engineering is something that's supposed to be for a guy, or this one and that one. But with time, it's progressing. But I still feel like more can be done to ensure that the word is like widespread and more people gain like knowledge of what STEM is and how like women and girls can fit in, and take the next step of actually upskilling, organizing programs like coaching, mentorship, just things that gives them like an entry point into like the tech field.
All right, thank you very much for sharing that. Um, we are working towards that. That is the one of the reasons we're having this virtual space. Yeah, and so far we've seen improvement on this on girls' participation in STEM. So our next question is, what can be done as a pharmacist and as a data analyst? Are there special skills required for these girls to have before going into data, um, becoming a data analyst or studying that, even a pharmacist?
So I would say for pharmacy, so it's a professional course. So obviously you have to go to the university. It's something you have access to when you go to the university. So you want to study pharmacy, just go to the university. If it's a great course, I'm not going to lie. Like being a pharmacist is a great flex. There are so many opportunities within the farm space, and the fact that now what I'm doing is health tech. So I'm a pharmacist, I'm a data analyst, and I'm combining the skills. So there are so many ways you can explore being a pharmacist. So I would advise, yeah, it's a good course to do. For data analysis, I would say that there is no specific thing I would say you need to know or you need to do before you start the journey into being a data analyst. The only thing you can do is do some research, right, and see that data analytics is something that can fit into say what you do. For instance, I always wanted to learn a skill that I could use within like the health sector, and that was why I found, oh, data analytics was something I could easily use and implement every day, like in the space where I already worked. So you could do these preliminary researches and find, oh, data analysis is something I can do, web dev is something I can do, whatever field it is, and then you start. So it is at that point you will now know the skills that you should have as a data analyst. and you begin the journey. So there's Excel, there's SQL, there's the visualization, and then there are even the programming tools that you need to learn. So in data analytics, you learn tools, right? You learn tools, and those tools, knowledge of those tools, like working knowledge of those tools, is essentially what makes you a data analyst. And then beyond the tools, you also have to have like an analytical mind. You also have to be able to understand things like business problems beyond using the tools, because you might know how to use a tool and you're not able to bring up insights from like a data set or fully understand like a business problem, which is like primarily what you should be doing as a data analyst. So in conclusion, I would say if you want to study pharmacy, you go to an accredited university, please get your degree and flex it. And for data analysis, do a research first of all and be sure that data analysis, there are so many fields in tech. Like tech is very broad, and even within the data space, data analysis is just like one part of like the data space. There's data engineering, there's machine learning and AI. There are so many things you can do even within the data space. So I would advise that you first find somewhere that you can fit in, somewhere you know that if you want to combine in what you currently do, somewhere you think that you can easily and comfortably combine with what you're doing, and then just start learning skills within that niche, right? For data analysis, like I mentioned, there's Excel, there's visualization, there's SQL, there's programming, Python, R, and the rest of them. So that would be a great place to start. And
Mm,
I would say you never finish learning to become like a data professional, because
of course.
every day you're faced with problems and you get like exposure per day. And these exposures are the things that forge you to being like a better data analyst or professional like within the tech space. So it is slow. I won't say it's slow, but it's not fast paced. It's something you do over time. And as you get more experience, you also have like opportunities and it gives you exposure, and that's what like builds you over time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that will be it.
Yeah, thank you very much for sharing that information. Okay, so our next question is when you were a student, did you feel any peer pressure, especially because you're a woman? What are the percentage of this challenge like you feel being a woman in the school?
Okay, I would say, okay, when I was in school, I don't think I felt any pressure because my class was sort of balanced. I think we even had more females than we had males. So I wouldn't say I felt so much pressure because of my gender as a woman. So I didn't really feel much pressure in school, but there was just the general pressure to do well, right, and to stand out and to just be the best. So that would be my response to that question.
All right. Okay. What advice would you give to young girls who are aspiring to become whom you are, well, aspiring to become like you, and then how do they overcome these challenges and the standard barriers?
Okay, so I think my first advice would be this. You would never know until you start. So
Okay.
if you keep waiting on, say, 2 years from now, oh, that's when I'm going to be ready to start, you may first of all never start and you may lag behind. So if you were to make progress in 6 months, if you delay it to another 6 months, you will just be at the start point. So first things first would be just start. Like you have the internet, you have social media to connect you to mentors now. It was harder before, right, when social media wasn't widespread. But you have the internet, you have so many people you could reach out to, so many people you can even silently follow that you can learn one or two from. So first things first, just start. And when you start, try to be the best. It's not a competition per se, but you should, like for you to stand out, like people need to see that you're worth it, right? They need to see that you have the skills, you have the knowledge, you're not just an empty barrel making like loud noise. So start and make sure like you build your skills to a level where you can confidently come out and talk about what you do without anybody throwing snide comments and all of that. And even if they throw snide comments, you could always like ignore, because there would always be people that will say things that you don't like. So start first,
Hmm.
reach out to people on social media, reach out to people on the internet that could or that can inspire you. If you don't want to reach out to them, or if you feel, oh, you're shy, you could always like follow them silently, browse through their profiles and see what they're doing and try to replicate. So start, follow people, replicate what people that you want to be like are doing. It's like a fast way for you to get to that point. Replicate what they are doing. And I would say like don't ever feel too small to begin anything. Like there is no set age for you to start. You don't have to wait till when you're 50, you don't have to wait till when you're 30. If you can start now, please don't limit yourself. Don't be your own limitation, right? The world is for you to conquer, it's out there for you to conquer. Don't be a limitation to yourself. Let go of that mindset that you can't do it and just start something. If you need mentorship, sure, you could join us at Insoni and we would guide you, provide you with opportunities, mentorship, and everything you need to start like your journey, like into tech. So like that would be my word of advice for anyone listening.
All right, thank you very much. You just said you will never know until you start. So girls, take note of that. You need to start, make the move before you see the next phase of it. Okay, so how can we increase girls' participation in STEM?
So I'm just going to reiterate what I said before. First things first, there has to be like widespread awareness. I'm lucky to come from, say, the urban part of Nigeria. There are so many rural areas where there is still the mindset that even as a girl, going for courses like engineering, it's a taboo. You shouldn't be doing all this. So first things first, we could start from widespread like awareness programs, campaigns, going to schools, particularly secondary schools, because catch them young. They need to know from secondary school first of all.
Yeah.
So we could start with organizing programs around secondary schools. That participation can only increase when people know that there are opportunities within these fields that they can actually explore. So you could start from secondary school campaigns, general campaigns, social media campaigns, community campaigns, and all of that. And then another way I think we can increase the participation of women and girls in STEM and tech is upskilling programs. I've mentioned before, if you have the knowledge, you have the idea, and you don't have the skills, it is harder for you to start or continue. So yeah, you have to build those skills beyond just like the knowledge or the interest, right? And just build yourself to the level where you can enter into STEM. So that would be like my advice for say organizations that are working around increasing participation and inclusion of women and girls in STEM. Awareness. Then collaboration is something I feel is very important. There are so many communities right now that I know that are working on increasing the participation and inclusion of women and girls. You could collaborate with any of these communities to ensure that there is an increased impact, right? Because in the end, we're looking at the numbers, we're looking to reach as many people as possible. So active collaborations between communities, between organizations is one way I feel like we could spread the word faster and reach much more people.
All right, thank you very much. Are there any scholarships and other opportunities for girls and young women who are pursuing these careers in STEM?
Yes, there are so many opportunities. For instance, the Insoni project, we are currently advertising our I wouldn't say advertising, but applications are open for our third cohort training, where we're looking to train about 200 women and girls in four high-end tech-like skills. So if you fit, it's a virtual training program, so it means that you must have access to say a laptop, internet, and all of that. But if you fit and you think this is something that you want to do, I would say be sharing the link with you after this, so you can share with them, so they can also apply. So that is one. There are so many other free programs online. There are courses on YouTube you could take, and there are platforms like Utiva, Udemy. So knowledge is now very decentralized, right? And you can easily access them. You just go on the internet, type in the skill you want to learn. You would have 1,001 suggestions on how to go about it. So that would be it.
All right, thank you very much. We'll be looking forward to having the link so we could share with the girls. I believe they'll be um, much interested on it. Okay, so
Sure, I will.
all right. Okay, so what jobs or career opportunities are there for girls who are aspiring or want to study data analyst?
So, like I said, the data field is very vast and wide, right? So you have data, and then you have data analytics as a part of the data field. So you have like data engineering, there is data analytics, which I'm doing. There is like machine learning. There is you could even within data analytics, for instance, you could decide to say, oh, you want to be like a visualization expert, meaning what you just do is that you focus on the data that has been brought and you just focus on visualizing and telling stories with that data. So the data field is very broad, right? So you just need to find something that resonates with you. Someone like me, I love visuals a lot. So I would say visualization is one of my strong points, right? So within the data analytics field, there is a lot you can do. You could just be like an expert in using, say, Tableau or Power BI, one of the tools, and just focus on that niche. So these are things you learn over time because I'm of the opinion that you can start when you start, you could dip your hands in too many pies, but as time goes on, you start to learn to specialize and you learn to know the skills that resonate more with you and then focus on those. So the data field is very broad, like I said, and once you start building skills and you start knowing where you can specialize and where you can fit in.
Well, thank you very much. Okay, so our next question is what would you consider to be your greatest um achievement as a STEM woman and as a passionate and serious person of your time?
Okay, I would say like my biggest achievements. I won't say biggest because it's still like in the works. Is
Okay.
starting in Sony, really. So beyond being a data analyst, the fact that I'm able to help provide opportunities for more women like me to go into like STEM and tech is one of the things I'm like proud of. The fact that we began as a one-off funded project to train just 6 women and girls, and in the past year we've gone ahead to train over 100
Wow.
is something I'm so proud of. And we are moving on to train additional 200. So by the end of the year, we can say we've trained close to 350 and reached over like 1,000. What is 1,000? Because our social media reach at this point and our impressions are getting to 5, 10,000 people. So it
Yeah.
means that we have been able to build like a community
Hmm.
and build like a network of people and help women and girls like us like get into tech. I would say that's like my biggest inspiration and one of my biggest achievements this year.
Wow.
And also being able to multitask. That's like a superpower.
Wow. Well done. And kudos to your team. All right.
Thank you
So
so much.
you're welcome. Okay, in Nigeria is currently facing health insecurities like globally. So what is your contribution to solving this problem with your field?
So, like you know, I'm a pharmacist and I'm a data analyst. It means that I am interested in, for instance, there is the flooding. People are getting sick every day. It means that people are coming into where I work with different kinds of ailments. So I'm interested in being observant and trying to find patterns, right? Find correlation to know if there is like a there is a relationship between what we are currently facing and the illnesses I see every day. So that's how like I employ my data analysis skills into like my profession. So every day people come in, I watch what this person buys, what this person came in for, what case this person is treating. So that's like a great way of employing the skills I have into ensuring that I have like maximum output and I'm able to cater for the health of other people. So first, as a health professional, I already contribute, right, to ensuring people are healthy. So I would say that. And as a data analyst, I try to also bring in my skills to watch for patterns rather, just look through what is going on and see if there are ways we could avert it. So if for instance someone like 10 people in a day come into where I work with a case of cough, it means that there could be something in the air that is causing that. And it means that I could now work with my team to see how we could avert this or see how we can prevent the occurrences or the occurrence of that pattern that we have noticed. So that's how I employ my skills, and that would be like my contribution from my small space to like the issues that are currently like plaguing Nigeria and the health.
Uh, okay, thank you for that. Thank you to your team also for the work. You guys are doing well. Well done. Okay, so during your studies, what did you find enticing or what enticing programs had gained your interest to pursuing this career? And okay, of course, what impact there will be impact in this? What impact of this practice have you encountered so far?
I don't think I got the questions that question right. But then before I proceed to answer, maybe you can repeat it. But I'm hoping I can round up very soon. Like I told you, I had something like I was going to get to. So I'm hoping I can round up say after this question. If that's fine. So probably just repeat the question and then
All right, no problem. I was saying that during your studies, what did you find enticing, or what enticing programs are they that captured your interest in pursuing a career in STEM, if any? What are its impacts?
so I think I will start with like would I say my interests, right? If I'm getting that right. I don't know, it's a bit confusing because like two questions in one. So I would say, like I mentioned at the beginning when I was introducing myself, my interest or what captured like my attention to go into the like data field was my exposure to social impact sector when I was like an undergraduate and how I was working with a lot of data that wasn't making a lot of sense and the fact that data first of all was not even available. So I would say that was what began my interest and what like exposed me to the field I'm currently. Hi, I don't know if you got that and if I
All
can
right, thank you
probably
very
round
much.
up.
Thank you very much. We're really really excited for having you speak to our girls. I believe they've learned a lot from your experience you've shared so far. So we'll be moving now to the next section, the Bachelor of Art of Mathematics. Thank you, Mrs. Joyce, for your time.
Thank you. And I really hope I could stay more, but I just have to leave for some pressing issue.
It's fine. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Enjoy the rest of the event.
And you too. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, Miss Neita. Um, so sorry, we've taken much of the time. Okay, so we're moving straight to your section now, the virtual class in maths. I I'm sorry, we've taken much of the time already.
Can we like try for some other day? Actually, I thought it was just me and I would have enough time, and I'm not sure if I can do it right now because I have an appointment with the doctor. So if we can like postpone it to some other day where I can like freely spend completely time with the students and the audience.
All right, that'll be fine. If that is what you want, it's okay. We'll just call up this section. Before you
Yeah,
leave,
like
can you drop an advice for a girl? You have a word? You have anything for girls?
oh yes, for always, I mean, always not my advice for girls is always people who are going to say you can't do it, you should not do it, it is not for you. And my answer for all of you girls, when you listen to it, or your answer must be for them that okay, just say okay for them, but you work hard on it and you prove that the next day or probably once you achieve what you wanted to do and then go back to them and say it that you did it. Okay, so that's something which I want all the girls to do. Believe in yourself and try doing, try achieving it, and do not listen to anyone else. That's it.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you. We've spent a lot. of time already. And I want to say thank you to everyone, to our viewers, to our girls listening. Thank you. Okay, before we call it up, I would love to talk a bit about us and our thanks. Our most appreciation goes to our partners, our supporters, and our donors. We say thank you to AWGS, Women Women Win, Global Fund for Women, and even most especially as STEM women. You guys are doing wonderfully well. Thank you for your support because without you, this show will not be holding. Thank you very much for joining the African Girls Empowerment Network into bridging this gender divide system. Really appreciate your time. Okay, so I would love to share a bit about Age Network has been doing. This virtual space is a program of the Girls Empowerment Network. And now here we can find on the screen is our focus areas for girls education. We have the health and well-being of our women, the leadership and financial inclusion, child marriage prevention, sexual and reproductive health rights, prevention of TB and HIV. We also have the Believe by Choice. Under the health care, we have the Believe by Choice also. So, um, okay, so if you want to participate, you can join us. Also, see the missions of our African Girls Empowerment Network, STEM Girls Initiative. These are missions encouraged to promote participation of girls in STEM. We hear the stories and journeys of women in STEM, questions, one-on-one questions as well. Um, so if you want to get involved, you can just reach out to us. You can become a STEM girl, participate in the talk show and all. Can also become a mentor, a volunteer, an ambassador, a partner, a friend. And so we want to say thank you again for being on the show. Don't forget, our customized t-shirts are still available. If you have need of one, you can just place an order, then we deliver it to your location. Okay, so I now want to say thank you and want to call it up from here. Want to say stay connected. To connect with us, have a message for us. You can just send us an email. You can join us on Facebook, on African Girls Empowerment Network, Same Girls Initiative, on Twitter. You can also call us, chat us on WhatsApp. You can see the numbers on the screen. Thank you very much for taking the time to be on the show to learn. Our girl, I'm blessed. I hope you've learned a lot from this conversation today.
Yes.
All right. So we look forward to seeing you and more of your friends joining next week. Thank you and bye.